Hi, I'm John Munoz, and welcome back to the Business Networking Channel, hosted by the Hispano Chamber of Commerce. Again, with me in studio is Toby Rue.
Thank you, John. What a great topic. You know, we're in a market where housing is, you got to have a house if you want to come and live, and if you want to relocate to the beautiful picturesque of southern New Mexico and Las Cruces. And now we have lending concerns, and the market is starting to either recover or stay in a recession. We just have all these worries that are on our shoulders.
Right.
But we can't be just standing still.
Got to be an optimist.
Got to be a
You know, I left Texas with empty pockets and a fistful of dreams. And I'm a New Mexican now.
That's right.
And so this is definitely a beautiful place.
Sure.
Picturesque, wonderful mountains, some great wilderness, and you know, who wouldn't want to live here? And you think about, you know, the snowstorms, hurricanes, earthquakes.
All those things.
Does that happen in Las Cruces?
We get an occasional 100-degree weather, but
I can deal with that. I can deal with that.
That's
so we definitely want to encourage. And we were talking to Farrell Thurston from the Building Industry Association. We want to encourage people to come to Las Cruces. This is a great place to live, you know. And the building industry, the builders, obviously, you know, provide whether directly or ancillary jobs.
There's
and
business.
That's what we need to in today's economy.
That's right.
So Toby, where do we leave off?
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our members out there, we're trying to provide you one voice of this business that we have in Las Cruces, the Hispano Chamber of Commerce and the networking. And the Building Industry Association of Southern New Mexico, the president, Farrell Thurston, has come here to talk about some of the opportunities in the building industry and the trades that come with it, but also some of the challenges that are happening here in Las Cruces and on the national stage. And we also have with this Cruces Chavez, who is our interim business manager for the Hispano Chamber, who herself has some questions to ask Farrell. And so we're going to start with her. She can ask you a question, and then we want to make sure you give us some of the challenges that you're facing as a collective here in Las Cruces.
Okay.
Before we went to break, I wanted to ask you about the shift into remodeling. I know that now that a lot of building isn't happening, a lot of builders have actually switched their business models into remodeling. Do you feel that that has sustained some of those businesses, and really how long do you think that that can last?
Oh, I think that's absolutely sustained some of the businesses. If people are in a home that's worth less today than it was yesterday, they're putting money into their home, fixing things up rather than going out and buying another home that may go down in value. So, and remodeling nationwide has dramatically increased. So, yeah, I think it's kind of balanced out for some people. But you know, as we've seen, there's been a lot of builders that weren't in remodeling, and they've kind of gone out of business because they couldn't sustain.
Do you see that as a trend that's going to carry through, or possibly just something that's temporary?
I think it's temporary. I mean, I think we're building up a demand. I mean, we're still producing babies, so there's still going to be a need for housing. And at some point, when the money cuts loose, we're going to see another time of buying, an increase in buying in housing.
Well, I'm
sorry. Go ahead. I just wanted to ask if you fear that with this lack of housing, if that's going to deter NMSU graduates or local graduates to stay
well, I
here.
think it can have an impact. How our economy does has a big impact on who stays here. Are there jobs that they can stay here for? And as you're talking about construction, you know, when a new business comes to town, somebody in construction is going to build that building for that new business, whether it's a Walmart or just a little mom and pop shop. Somebody has to build that and put it together. And as we were talking about, you know, the city government plays a part in this, whether they encourage or discourage people from coming here. For instance, just a couple of weeks ago, the city passed new impact fees, and that now on every new housing project is going to cost roughly $3,000 to $4,000 more for someone to buy a house now because of those impact fees. And you know, you hear people say, well, that's people coming from out of town that are buying, they're building a new house, and so the out-of-towners are paying the taxes for us, or paying for the increase. But really, you know, about 60% of all the new homes come from people right here, our children, our relatives that relocate here, the new house that we want, so that our house becomes a first-time home buyer's house. So we're really paying that. And
yeah, you know, I remember a statistic, probably about what's that new word for statistic? Ideal, well, whatever. So I can't remember the new word. I should have paid attention in my stats class.
You're the CEO, not me.
Scratch that. No, so there were 200 or 300 families moving in monthly, and that was about 3 or 4 years ago during the boom. So I don't know what that is right now, but it makes sense if it's even, say it's on the high side, 300, and 97,000 people live here or so. You're right, most of this fee is paid by local residents. The Hispano Chamber obviously is a non-political organization, but we do take positions on policy, and so we obviously asked council not to pass impact fees. We felt that in today's business climate that would affect us adversely. So you're right. I mean, that's something that definitely we could talk to our councilors, talk to policymakers at City Hall to make sure that we don't do anything to make things worse or put obstacles in the way of repairing
the
our
interesting
economy.
thing about these fees, the impact fees have primarily been on residential construction. These fees now go to commercial construction, and they have a high scale. Like if a big, say Walmart comes in, they're going to spend thousands of dollars on impact fees before they ever turn a spade of dirt.
Well, and it sounds to me, looking at this from all sides, it's back to basic survival. Maslow's laws, food, shelter, and clothing. We're looking at these type of things, and the housing industry has provided the shelter for a better way of life, for an economic benefit, whatever spin you want to put onto it. Las Cruces has been the benefactor of growth.
Right.
And with the spaceport down, starting to build and grow its roots, the partnerships with Union Pacific up in Santa Teresa, and the continuing growth of our missile base and some of those things.
We have opportunity.
There are going to be some opportunities.
As well.
And Sitel is continuing to build. But I guess I can try to see, like you said, which came first, the chicken and egg. From a city organization, and I'm not much on the city politics, but this is a revenue generating opportunity.
Yes, it helps.
And so if you're in good business and you see good business opportunity, you want to capitalize it. And from the building side of it, you're seeing this as a deterrent. So,
well, from building and business side,
it could be, absolutely.
If you tell Walmart you're going to have to pay $800,000 before you turn any dirt, they might say, "Do we really need another Walmart in Las Cruces?"
And do we know what the fees will be going to?
Yeah, they've put the fee schedule out now.
Can you give us some examples of what they've decided?
It's about 3,000. Is that what you were saying?
But as far as what they will be going to pay for, are they going to the general fund or?
Well, it's supposed to go. The new impact fees are for roads, drainage, and public safety.
Okay.
And they put a schedule of when they're going to be implemented. The first one that's going to be implemented is public safety, and that will happen in January of the new year.
And it still seems like a lot of handcuffs to build business.
It is.
And there's other ordinances.
We understand the public safety piece, but again, there's a balance, and
there's other ways, though.
Yeah, and there could be other ways to do that. Maybe you can cover a couple more, because we're obviously coming to time. Maybe a couple more issues that are out there.
Well, that issue has passed. Yeah, that issue has passed. However, because they're implementing in stages, there's still time to make changes to that. So I encourage people to go to the city council and let their voice be heard, that we want to be a pro-growth city, that we want people to come here, that we want businesses to thrive here. And at the impact fee meeting, there was a lot of people there, and a lot of people stood up and spoke out against it. So that's really great. Another thing that's on the table right now at the city is what they're calling the dust ordinance. And this is going to add more cost to all the businesses, and particularly contractors, where the city wants us to control the dust that gets in the air from the work that we do. That's a pretty tough thing when we live in a windy desert.
Right.
And so I would appreciate it if citizens would come to city council and speak out and say, we don't need another silly law on the books. The interesting part of it, in the draft document that the council has put together, they're excluding all agriculture activities. So if you're growing a garden at home or you've got a farm, your dust is okay. You can make dust if you've got a farm or you're growing a garden. If the government has got an emergency situation, they can make dust.
Okay.
If someone that provides our utilities like electricity, gas, oil, etc., cable, even cable TV, if they make dust, it's okay.
They need to be taxed.
But
You want this?
if you're the company that's putting a roof over somebody's head, you're going to be penalized if you make dust.
And I think these issues need to be addressed. We're having a lot of political change. We're having opportunities for new members to come in. So this is, audience and our members out there, this could be your time to get off your couch, get out there, start making your voice heard. We're as John has mentioned from the Hispano Chamber, we've tried to take a position to support some of these building incentives for the building association and discourage some of these unnecessary impact fees that are out there. However, this is your community. This is Las Cruces. We want you to make your voice heard. And Farrell, you've done a great job of coming in and talking to us. Cruces, you added some of the opinions that were out there and leading the Hispano Chamber. John, you know, we always have a good show, and there's always challenges, and wish we had more time to solve these.
You know, we might bring you back on, Farrell, just to finish up some other conversations, because it's very interesting. And of course, John and Christopher, I was only kidding about cable television. Yeah, you know where my heart is. So there's a comment. We want to thank you again for your time. Thank you for watching the Business Networking channel. We will see you next week.